Եվ մցել թակավոր հարած։
Ով է սա թակավոր հարած, ներզոզողյանքիվով և դաղողնի բարերազու։
Համպարցեք իշխան կսունց ծերի վերամպարցրին տրուն կավիդենից և մցել թակավոր հարած։
Ով է սա թակավոր հարած և ներզոզողյան։
Սա ինքն է թակավոր հարած։
Օգնյալ, եկյալ, անբանկյալ, օգնյալ, ով հարուս ես թակավոր աշխարհի որ Սուրբ Սարգիսը երեցվո պատսոնամյակի այս տունախմբությունը վեզուկատիպի նաև աշխորդական վերևությանս երկրորդ շրջանի ծառայության և այսօրվա խոհապանական այս պատարակը, այս աղոթքը բոլորիս համար կլա մեր հավատքին, հույսին և սիրո մեջ վերանորոգվելու առիթը, որպեսզի մեր 2000-ամյա դարիներու հայ եկեղեցվող առաքելության որպես ոսկի օղակը դառնան ամենքս միասին մեր ծառայությամբ և այդ ծևով կարենան փոխանցել մեր հաջող սերունդներուն լուսավորչաբան մեր հավատքը։ Այսօր Հայաստանից երեցվող տունացույցին համաձայն Երևան Սուրբ Խաչի տոնն է։ Պատմական այն գեղեցիկ տոնը, որ գերունեցավ 4 տարուն և ողսերևով հանգած Երուսաղեմի մեջ գտնվող և հավատացյալները և նաև ուխտավորները, որ եկած էին տարբեր երկրների, տեսան զարմանահրաշ լուսավոր խաչը, որ կողքոտային մինչև ցիտենյացները կտարածվեր։ Եվ այդ հրաշքը ոչ թե միայն ակնթարթ, այլ նաև տևեց այնքան, որ ամենքը միասնաբար առիթ ունեցան և տալու Սուրբ տաճար և խոհապանելու Աստված, որ թերևս նշաններով, հրաշքներով իր ժողովրդին հետն է և դուզեմ ուրանոք երբեք և երբեք, որ հնար ժամանակով հերու ըլլան, խաչյալի, խաչեն, բայց միշտ վստահալան, որ ան մեր հետն է։ Եվ այսօր երբ մենք գտնենք այս պատմական գեղեցիկ խաչ երևումը, գտնենք ոչ միայն որպես նայելով անցյալին, այդ ընդհանրակը զայն մեր կյանքի մեջը իմաստավորելու նպատակով, որովհետև խաչը եթե դարձավ սուրբ սեղանը, որում վրա զոհակորձվեցավ մեր Փրկիչը Հիսուս Քրիստոս, այդ սուրբ խաչը նաև Քրիստոսի կողմէ մեզի հայտնվեցավ, որ իր երկրորդ քարոզին պիտի այն երկնային թափորը, որ պիտի երևնա, անոն պիտի լա հարաճակեն նշանը։ Սուրբ խաչով է որ ամբողջ երկրավոր զորքերը պիտի երևան և այդ ծնով պիտի հայտնագործվի աշխարհի վախճանը, որ պիտի լա նաև նոր աշխարհի սկիզբը, ինչպես առաքյալը գսե, նոր երկինք և նոր երկիր, ուր այլևս Աստուծո կամքը միայն պիտի իշխե և ամեն հավատացյալներ իրեն ուրախությամբ և սրտությամբ պիտի թիմավորեն, իսկ անոնք, որոնք տարբեր պատճառներով ներժեցին, ուրացան, անոնք պիտի մնան ամոթով։ Եվ այս սուրբ խաչն է, որ թարեր ընթացքին հավատացյալի կյանքը զորացուցած է, ոչ միայն որպես փայտի գդորումը, այլ ընդհանրակը Քրիստոսի ներկայության խորհուրդը իրենց մեջ։ Կարդացած են, լսած են, բայց միշտ կարժե նորոգել անցյալի բոլոր գեղեցիկ վկայությունները, թե ինչպես և բարձ հույսը հուսկյանե ենթակա է կախարդության ուժերուն, որպեսզի իր սիրտը իր միտքը փոխելով գապվի հեթանոսիմը և սակայն խաչի նշանը երբ որ գներ իր վրա խաղաղություն, թեթևություն, վստահություն և երբ կախարդության ուժի աղբյուրը Իբյանուս անունով մեկը և հարց կուտա իրեն ենթակա ուժերուն թե Ձեր առաքելությունը կատարեցիք եւ անոնք սարսափար ոչ կսեն եւ երբ կհարցվին ինչու, որովհետեւ խաչի նշանը է Սարգսեն եւ այդ կամուսնախարտը հարց կուտա, թե ինչ նշանի այդ խաչի նշանը, հարցի ու հայ եւ լայերս ու հայերեն մեկը։ Խաչակ նշանով է ոսել համադասյաններ, մեր ժողովուրդը թարեն ընթացքին, ամեն բարձ, ամեն խոնար հավատքով զորացան այդ խաչի նշանով։ Ըսած են և գգրտնեն, և կբարդ կսկամանով, որ մեր սվերունքը մեծավ այնպիսի համես բարեբաշ ծնողներով, որ խաչի նշանը մեզի որպես հավատքի աղբյուր ու փոխանցեցին։ Եվ որ մեկ ադեն ճանքով կգլար ունիմը մեջ, մայրը շուրգը կապեր խաչի նշանով, որպեսի զավակը կամ ամուսինը ունենա ապահով և տութած։ Ես հիշեմ և հավանաբար մի քանի տարեկաների և մայրս պարմիկ ու դարինձի, վերջին չուի խոսքը որգներ ապսեու վրաս խաչի նշանը կհաներ, որպեսի զավգի վրա միշտ աստուծու օգուտ ու բահավան ընա։ Գիշեմ հոգերուս գևոտ սրպազան հալևինախով առաջնորդներ են մին, որիդև յալ վգայությունը փոխանցած է մեզի և ինձ համար գա եղած է հոյական արիթմը խաչի մասին մտածելու և նաև փոխանցելու ցեզի թե ինչպիսի իրականություն է, ճշմարտություն է և հավատքի աղբյուր է խաչի հասկացողությունը խորհուրդը մեր կյանքի մեջ։ Երբ պատահակեմը ետ կայցել է այրի կնոջկումը, ճաշեն ետ կխնդրե դիգինը որպեսի իրավոտ կնե զավակներու վրա և երբ ներս կդանի երկու անգամավույթ զավակներ բաղկած էին ամբողջի մեջ։ Սրբազան հայրս է ասում իմ քաղցր խաչս են, որ սիրով կգրեն։ Թե ինչ պատճառներով չեն գնա բացատրել, բայց զանոն որպես աստուծո որդիները ինձ իմ խրանքից հանձնված, ես սիրով կդանիմ, փուքվանքով կդանիմ անոտ ծառայությունը։ Աս ելյամադացյաններ, խաչը միայն, ոսկեշով, ատամանդյա, նյութեղեն հասկացողություն չեմ միայն, այո, գնանք հվանդության գրել զայն, բայց այդ խաչը աբգված, գենթանի, աստուծմեն մեզի փոխանցվող ներուժն է, այն ուժը, որ Քրիստոս այնքան սիրով և համբերությամբ գրեց, ոչ թե միայն փոխփոթայի վրա, ընդհակառակը աստվածային սերը, աստվածային խաչը սկսավ այն պահեն, երբ արդեն իր ստեղծյալ պատկերը մեղանչեց և այդ օրգներ աստված դնորինեց, որ երբ ժամանակի լուրը կա, պետք է լա մարդոց նման որպեսի այդ մարդոց մեղանչումը մարդվե սրբե իր զոհակորձումովը։ Նմանապես ամենքը սա, ոչ միայն որպես եկեղեցական մեր խաչը առնենք, ինչպես Քրիստոս պատվիրեց, այլ առասակ ամենքս այր և դին, մանուկ պատանի և դասակ, կյանքի բոլոր տաշներու մեջ որևէ փորձով անց, երբ գիտնա որ կյանքի մեջը միայն ուղղ ակներ չեմ որ պիտի ունենան, այլ ընդհակառակը շատ ավելի պիտի լան, տանչանքի, դարաբանքի, բաժանումի, փշոտ օրերը և երբ անիկա խաչի հասկացողությամբ ապրի, այնադեմ նաև խաչալին ներուժը կստանա։ Երբ Պողոսարակյան դսե խաչագից ըլլան Քրիստոսի շատ բարձ և հստակ է։ Յանքը ապրինք, այնպես ինչպես ինք խաչյալը գիտակցապար ապրեցավ, որտեղ միշտ այդ կյանքի մեջ են ինք փոխանցեց բրգություն, իսկ մենք նաև Մեր ինքնությունը հայտնած կլանք, որպես Աստուծո Քրիստոսի հավատարիմ եղբայրները եւ քույրերը, եւ այդ ծևով եւ խաչյալը կփրկանվի, եւ մենք որպես խաչագիցներ կզորանանք, եւ նաեւ մեր կյանքի նպատակը կդառնա անշեր, թեպի խաչընկնեն հարություն. Beloved children of God, today, according to the calendar of the Armenian Church, we are celebrating the apparition of the Holy Cross in Jerusalem, which appeared daytime. It was almost morning, noontime, and it was spread from Mount Golgotha to Mount Olive. Very symbolic distance, because it brings us the message that how Jesus was crucified on Golgotha and he ascended from Mount Olive. In the same way, all of us, no matter to what kind of Golgotha life experience we go, we should always be sure that as Jesus Christ ascended from Mount Olive, in the same way, when we depart from this world, St. Blessed surely taught us the greatest lesson, saying, "O Lord, I commit my soul into your hands, into the angel of peace, and rest me in your eternal peace." In the same way, my dear brothers and sisters, as Jesus, when he was ascended, and the angels appeared and assured his disciples that he's with us, in the same way, no matter we are living in flesh or we depart from this world, when we commit ourselves to the angels of peace, he always will carry to the heavens. And living the mystery of cross is very deep. It's not only carrying the cross as a piece of wood or silver or gold or diamond, but rather to live in our daily lives. Not only in time of peace, success, but in the furnace of fire of this life. That's how the power of the cross energizes us. To live our life as Christians means, no matter to what circumstances we go, always we have to believe that we are carriers in Jesus Christ, our cross, consciously and joyfully. Last week we had our NRA, National Representative Assembly, in Philadelphia. I had a conversation with a gentleman who lost 1 month ago his most beautiful, loving and caring wife, who was the pillar not only of the church, but as well as not only the pillar of the family, but as well as the entire church and the community. And let me share with you just one example of what kind of personality she was. The young gentleman, due to the accident, was rushed to hospital. His parents were in Canada. As soon as this lady heard about the accident, she asked her husband, let us go to hospital, and be next to the gentleman until his parents arrived. That type of personality she was. A true loving and caring character. Nevertheless, after a long conversation, I asked the husband, all these circumstances you are going through, can you tell me sincerely if this loss impact on your faith? He said, Sir Kazan, sincerely saying, of course, I miss her. I miss her a lot. Every single second, I feel her absence. But I have to confess that never and never I have challenged God's presence in my life as well as for her better life. This is, my dear brothers and sisters, to carry the cross consciously. It's not just a phrase, expression, a word, or very eloquent sermon, but rather to go through life as Christ, in different walks of life, wherever we are. If we can imitate Christ, I assure you that will be energize us in order to continue our pilgrimage from life to life. I look at how during COVID and even post-COVID era, we are going through different traumas, through experiences. And one of the most significant symptoms is zero tolerance. Every day from the news we are getting that how people are shooting haphazardly in supermarkets, in malls, in schools, and not only in metropolitan areas, but in remote areas. That's why, my dear brothers and sisters, we need to renew ourselves in our faith, anchored in the mystery and the power of Holy Cross. Thomas Vatsile Vadatsale, Amen Sal. Isabes Deva Mokemes, Amen Oyev Amen Jam, Levavat Indeshe. Levavat Mien, Vaskarozu Tunche. Levavat Asvatapan Tunche. Levavat Abruvas Ganke. Devievet Amen Sal. Abrin, Uvogen, Ichvogen, Yevwadla, Anabemidi, Stat Aklerkin, Zolkuna, Khachin, Wampok Jevazagalier, Zoratsus Degevetsin, Yevai Meses Vizolasie, Obes Vekanaski, Asuzo Hostasian Parkin, Ola Janivat Kamenkes, Parabol Vakasukuna, Abidans, Abidens, Abid.
You Մեղանչեցի ամենասուրբ երրորդության, Հորը, Որդիին և Սուրբ Հոգիին դեմ, մեղավոր եմ Աստուծո առջև, բոլոր մեղքերս խոստովանիմ Աստուծո առջև, Սուրբ Աստվածածնին և բոլոր սուրբերուն առջև, ինչպես նաև քո առջև Հայր Սուրբ։ Մեղանչեցի մտածումով, խոսքով ու գործքով, կամա թե ակամա, գիտակցաբար թե անգիտակցաբար, մեղա Աստուծո։
Աստված թողություն շնորհեսա։
Մեղանչեցի այն 7 անձանքներով, որոնք մահացու մեղքերն են, հպարտությամբ, նախանձով, բարկությամբ, ծուլությամբ, ագահությամբ, որգրամոլությամբ, ցանկամոլությամբ և ասոնց բոլոր տեսակներով մեղա Աստուծո։
Աստված թողություն շնորհեսա։
I have also sinned against all the commandments of God, both positive and prohibitive. For I have neither performed the positive commands nor abstained from those things that are prohibited. I accepted the law, but was slothful in keeping it. I was called to the profession of Christianity, but was found unworthy of it by my deeds. While knowing the evil, I willingly gave way to it, and from good works I purposely kept away. Woe to me, woe to me, woe to me! Which of my misdeeds shall I recount? Which shall I confess? For my sins are innumerable. My iniquities are unspeakable. My afflictions are intolerable, and my wounds are incurable. I have sinned against God.
May God grant you forgiveness for all of your sins.
Հայր Սուրբ, մեզի համար աշտության միջնորդ եւ բարեխոս եղիր Աստուծո միածին որդինքով եւ քեզի տրված իշխանությամբ մեզ մեր մեղքերու կապանքներին արձակի աղաչեք քեզի.
Դեր ողորմյա, դեր ողորմյա, դեր ողորմյա. May all merciful God have mercy on you and grant you forgiveness for all of your sins, those that you have confessed and those that you have forgotten. And I, with the priestly authority vested in me, but with the power of the word of God, that whatever you loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. By this very word, I absolve you from all of your sins, committed knowingly and unknowingly, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And I reinstate you in the sacraments of the Holy Church, that whatever good you may do in this world will be considered good for you in the coming life, in the kingdom of God. Խոստովանացելոց և մոռացելոց և ես կարգավս քահանայական իշխանությամբ և հրամանավն աստվածային տես, որ ինչ արձագիցեք և երեցի արձագյալ եղես։ Նովին պանիվն արձագնստես, համենայն մասնակցությունը մեղացերոց, ի խորորդոց, ի պանի ծևի գործոց, հանուն հոր և որդվո և հոգմին սրբո և ծարծադամստես, ի խորորդը սուրբ եկես հոթես, որ ինչ գործեք բարիք երեցիզը բարիքորդուների պարես։ Մարմինը բարին դիարներոց, քեզի կապությունների թողություն։
Ոստավանի և հավատան, զիզայ կենտանին և կենտարար, մարմին և արգության ըններով և պրջին Իսուսի Քրիստոսի, որ լիքնես լիքավություն և իտոքյուն մեղած, ոստավանի
Մարմինը բարին դիարներոց, քեզի կապությունների թողություն մեղած։
kabutun je vitorutun meras. Sarkis kabutun je vitorutun meras. Sarkis kabutun je vitorutun meras. Sarkis kabutun je vitorutun meras.
Sarkis եկեղեցվո 60-ամյակին այսօր հոգեանքստյան արարողություն կգադարենք մեր առաջին հոգևոր հովիվին, ինչպես նաև մեր եկեղեցվո բոլոր բարերարներուն և բարեկամներուն հոգիներուն հյանքիստ։ Այսօր հոգեանքստյան արարողության ընթացքին նաև սրբազան հայրը վիդեոորդ է այս պլակները, որոնք նվիրված են մեր առաջին հովիվին, դերասողիկին, Սուզան և Հովսեփ Հակոբյաններուն և Պետրոս Շիվերակյանին։ Հոգեանքստյան արարողությունը կգադարվի Էդվարդ Ասլանյանի մահվան 40-ին արդիվ։ Աղոթենք սիրելիներ, որ Աստված իշյանի մեր բոլոր նշեցյալները արժանի ներլուսակայության, սրտավորներուն բարգև է Սուրբ Օգնասվան դիտարությունը։ Ամեն։
Եվ Եվսվար, Գարս դրավաճ Եսու, գրվարկեց վեվոր,
Եվ հարկ ու սրկո, աշմ և միշտ և ավիդյանս ավիդենից ամեն։
Oh
died, they will live forever. Do you believe in my word? Martha said, yes, O Lord, I believe that you are the Son of God who came to save us. Derde Iisus Hristos ase, jesem harupciune je biancă, an vor in zi havada, te je verni, als havidiam bidi abri, gavadas als foskis, Martha stab anor, aio, yes havadacite tunes Hristos, astuzo voptin, uașar vidi, cai. Hristos voptea studzo, anu hagaliev areput, că takva arčanasiov teokis hankusial zara iskots. Je manavanter teokisen,
Der Asorik Abak Kahana Kılıcani, Yeviretkin Angel Kılıcani, Der Yevligin Hosef,
եւ Սուզան Հակոբյաններու, Դիար Բերգոս Շիվերեկյանի, այլև հիշատ էր Սոկիսն պարերած և պարեգամատ Սուրբ Սարգիս եկեղեցվով, Ջակ Չադրջանի, Լիպսիմե Մինասյանի, Բեդրոս Սարգավակ Բեդրոսյանի, Աբեդիս Սարգավակ և Մելինե Քյուրքչյաններու, Կեղամ և Արշալույս Եզդանյաններու, Բանձալի Աջեմյանի, Ջան և Նվարդ Ալեքսանյաններու, Հայրո Բադասարյանի, Ասկր և Մարգրետ Չադրջյաններու, Լևոն Դեմիրջյանի, Սարգիս և Արաքսի Դերյաններու, Անուշավան Հակոբյանցի, Ջան և Սատենիկ Հանիմողուներու, Վարուժան Քորողլյանի, Եղիա և Անտոնիա Քրիմաթյաններու, Հրանտ Կույումջանի, Օսաննա Գրիգորյանի, Եղիշե Լալյանի, Հովնան Ջիվելեկյանի, Վահրամ Գիրագոսյանի, Բենիտա Մարկարյանի, Համպիկ Ազարյանի, Արաքսի Մագարյանի, Գարաբետ Մանուկյանի, Կարնիկ և Շուշանիկ Միդիդյաններու, Ջորջ Սեբու Ներսեսյանի, Կարնիկ և Լուրիցա Փագումյաններու, Օնիկ և Վալենտին Փագումյաններու, Արտեմիս Փափազյանի, Դիքրան և Մարիամ Փափազյաններու, Փոլ և Արամ Փափազյաններու, Քնարիկ Պետրոսյանի, Զենո և Վերքին Վարդանյաններու, Վերնեն Քալյանի, Զավեն Անդրիկյանի, Կարնիկ Պետրոսյանի, Ալեն և Ձաղիկ Քալյաններու, Ալբերտ Տերյանի, Ջակ Դավիդյանի, Ջորջ և Ալիս Կասպարյաններու, Բարուր և Մաննիկ Ներսեսյաններու, Նուբար և Շաքե Թարլանյաններու, Հարություն Զիլելյանի, Հակոբ Ոսկերիչյանի, Հովանես Մգրյանի, Ռևոն Կարիբյանի, Կարնիկ Ներսեսյանի, Ջորջ Պետրոսյանի, Վասկեն Կասաբյանի, Զավեն Ավակ Սարգավակ Կասախյանի, Ռաֆի Զորաբյանի, Գայձակ Գոյաջյանի, Հայկ Բաքրաջյանի և Էդվարդ Արսանյանի։
Հիշյալում մեծ կալսյալակար կյանքով, առարժանի ողողմունքյան, կավունքյան և կողունքյան բերած, թասավորյալ բայձարացոն սուր պսկով աչապոմյան թասուն, զիտու ես դեր և արարի չամնեցուն տադավոր գենտանյաց և մերոց, և կեզ պարակ հավիտյանս, ամեն։
Christ, Son of God, forbearing and full of compassion, have mercy through your love as the Creator upon the souls of your departed servants. Remember, O Lord, especially the souls of the benefactors, the founders, and the friends of St. Sarkis Church that has been in service of the Lord for the past 60 years. Remember them on the great day of the coming of your kingdom. Make them worthy of your mercy, remission, and forgiveness of sins. Illuminate and rank them among the saints at your right hand. For you are Lord of the living and of the dead, and to you is befitting glory, dominion, and honor, now and always, and forever and ever. Amen.
Ortea vermer Iisus Christos, amen.
Amen.
surchiun e par capidianus. Amen.
Amen.
Please stand up for the entry of our clergy. Thank you very much.
Allons Åknärde seranse seranagistes amman på bless O Lord our table on the anniversary of 60th anniversary of St. Sarkis Church. All those who share this table, fill them with your hope, with your love, with your faith and the spirit of commitment, so that they will build up the community more and more and transfer for next generation, always following in your footsteps and praising your name forever. Čaša Jesuha u campus Geraguas, Boblake Viale de Sidiagne, o Viale de Givare Cresciu. Amen.
So that is the invocation, right? That was the invocation. Okay. So I'm just going to cross it over. Okay. We're moving.
Okay, you want to do it with the table? So we can't do it with the table, they got to stop. Close it.
Do me a favor. Tap that microphone. I want to see which volume it is. Hit it one more time. Hit it one time. That one is number 3. Okay. That was number 3. Okay. Just in case I am like over there for a second. This also? Are you okay? Sort of I'm going to introduce Simon now, and we're going to go through this process. But what you know, Louisa, we may have to make a slight change.
Yeah.
Because some of the parents with the kids that want to leave.
That's fine, that's
So
fine.
before, can we have the singing? Can you like do that, and then we'll have the singing with the kids?
You want the kids after her? Or before?
Yeah, let Louisa do the welcoming. Because she's going to be a few minutes, and then the kids let them sing after that.
I'm gonna bring all my papers to scare everybody off.
Just put it on me.
I'll be at 8 if something blows up and I don't see it.
Got it.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I know everybody is excited to be here and excited to enjoy the beautiful salad that's in front of you, but if you could just give me a minute of your attention, I would appreciate that. And you can continue eating if you prefer. So our program today is full of very exciting things, and I just want to start the program so we can move along and keep going and enjoy this special day. So, thank you. Just don't break the glass. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to introduce to you the MC for today's event, and then he'll present the rest of the program for today, okay? So, good afternoon, Your Eminence Archbishop Anushavan Tanerian Prelate, Very Reverend Father Sahak Yamishan Vicar, Reverend Father Narek Terterian, members of the clergy, Yeretskins, members of the St. Sarkis Church, ladies and gentlemen and children that are present here today. I have the opportunity to introduce to you the MC for today's event. This gentleman has been an active participant of the New York Armenian community from a young age. He was a member of the first graduating class of St. Illuminator's Armenian Day School and later served as a board member for St. Illuminator's Armenian Day School. He grew up playing sports, soccer and basketball for Hominid Men of New York and later became the president of Hominid Men's New York chapter. Thereafter, he was elected a member of Hominid Men's Regional Executive Council. He's a graduate of Fordham University and a graduate of St. John's University School of Law. Most recently, and for several years now, he has been a member of the St. Sarkis Church Board of Trustees. His business and legal guidance in the Board of Trustees has been welcomed by all. I have the privilege this afternoon of introducing you to Mr. Simon Bardisbanyan Esquire as the MC for the 60th anniversary celebration and gala banquet. Simon?
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for your patience. Your Eminence Archbishop Anushavan Tanielam Prelate, Very Reverend Father Sahak Yamishian Vicar, Reverend Father Terterian, Marek Terterian, members of the clergy, and of course our esteemed guests. As Harry told you, I'm going to be the MC for today's banquet. To begin, I would like to invite our very own Angelica Inzigulian to sing our national anthem with Hofsep Terterian on keyboards. So I'm going to ask that you please rise to the national anthem.
Twilight's last gleaming, those
before I speak to you, I would like to invite for the opening remarks, for the welcoming remarks, so to speak, none other than the chair lady of this 60th anniversary celebration, Dr. Louisa Kubikian. Before you come up, Louisa, I know you're worthy of even more extended applause, but I didn't mean to interrupt that. But Dr. Louisa Kubikian served on the BOT for many years, beginning 1993. She was involved in organizing many, or if not most, of the major events celebrated at the prelacy and at St. Sarkis Church. And in 2012, she was awarded the prelacy's Queen Zabel Medal for her service to the church. She's also designed and written the booklets related to the history of St. Sarkis. So without further ado, Dr. Louisa Kubikian.
Your Eminence, Archbishop Anushavan Danielian, honored clergy, dear parishioners and friends. First of all, Your Eminence, I would like to congratulate you on your re-election as our dear prelate. And also for choosing to spend the first day as the newly re-elected prelate at St. Sarkis. In a way, your home, a place that you have served for so many years. Thank you so much for being here. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the 60th anniversary of our church. Finally, we are able to get together. 2 years ago, we started with the 30th anniversary of the new St. Sarkis, but there were events beyond our control. So here we are now, finally, together celebrating this major milestone in the St. Sarkis Church's history. One thing that I'd like you to notice is that we have 3 generations present. We have the older parishioners, the middle parishioners, and we have the teens and the children who are really our future. As you witnessed earlier in church, there was the blessing of 3 plaques. I think it's not sounding right? It's okay now? Yeah. The 3 plaques for 4 distinguished parishioners who devoted so much time, energy, and they were really involved with the survival of our church. They are, of course, the Reverend Father Archpriest Sarkis Douglaston, the pastor of St. Sarkis Church for 29 years. Suzanne and Hofsep Hagopian, who were the benefactors, major benefactors of this church. And then also, of course, Bedros Jivelekian, who was the chairman for 20 years. St. Sarkis has been a great part of my life, and as some of you know, I've been here for a very long time, and it feels like home to me, even though we have moved to New Jersey. And you are really my extended family. So thank you so much for coming today. One thing that I want to mention especially is the amazing and outstanding support that St. Sarkis Church received in this fundraising for the 60th anniversary. So thank you so much for your generosity, for feeling that you are part of St. Sarkis, and for your wonderful donations. I was blessed to work with a wonderful group of ladies and men, and they made me feel young, challenging me to navigate certain technological advances that I couldn't understand, like Google Drive, and I think the QR code. But our committee was an example of teamwork at its finest, and I'm very grateful to every one of you who were part of the committee for truly the respect and the love that you bestowed on me. Thank you very much. I am infinitely grateful to some of the ladies, and I am going to call only a few. Zebur, Sonia, Salti, Alina, Yerezkinani. And I'm going to miss you guys because every day there were about 10, 15 calls or text messages. But it was also very joyful whenever we found out that there was a donation, so that was a shared joy. So in conclusion, I would like to thank you for coming here, and also I would like to thank Bernadette Terterian for entrusting me with this important job. So thank you, relax, enjoy the evening. It's a very special afternoon, not evening, afternoon.
All right, just a slight change of program as far as the order. At this time, I would like to invite the students of the St. Sarkis Saturday School. Now, before I invite them up, I just wanted to let you know that, the students, there's approximately 60 students in the school, but the children's choir only has a sampling of a few of them here today, all right? They're going to be led by our conductor and music teacher and secretary of the church, Ms. Zebur Adzigian, and of course, Ms. Haigui Megarian, pianist and one of the church organists. The songs that they're going to sing is Yegretzin Haigagan and Yerdasaldagan Kailef. So at this point, I'd love to invite the St. Sarkis Saturday School Choir. All right, everyone. Sorry to interrupt your lunch. Again, like I said, we've been going out of order a little bit. So there's a few things I want to speak to you about. Let me just start off right off the bat with, I don't know if you've noticed, there are slides on the TVs, and then during dinner, or after dinner if I'm not mistaken, during dinner, they're going to be shown on at the center as well. And it's 1,300 slides. And you know when they say a picture is worth 1,000 words? Well, there's a lot of words, right? Because there's a lot of slides. Okay. So I hope you enjoy them. It's kind of fun to see your family and friends in older pictures, right? Also, before we go on, I know I mentioned some of the clergy before. I just want to take this opportunity to recognize Der Mesot Lakisyan and Yeretzki Nojin from St. Illuminator's Cathedral. I also want to mention Reverend Father Abraham Malkasyan as the pastor of Holy Mother Church. Thank you. And Reverend Father Vahan Kuyumjan, who's outreach clergy. Thank you for your presence. Let's begin Okay. Bedik na Okay, Bedik. Thank you, Bedik, for gracing us with your presence. Okay. I also want to talk to you about the silent auction. I don't know if some of you saw as you walked into your left and right, there's items there. They've been detailed in the booklet. You have various items, artwork, jewelry, a summer camp experience. So please take your opportunity to go look at it and bid. Any questions you have, the silent auction is being run by Haibui, Megerian, and Svetlana Injigulian. So any questions you have, feel free to speak to them. And I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, Svetlana. No, it was okay. All right. All right. So take a look. Any questions you have? We anticipate the auction to bidding to end approximately 4:30ish. Okay. All right. Before I announce my next guest, I just want to take an opportunity to speak to you about 5 or 10 minutes, about 5 minutes or so. When I was asked to MC this event, of course I accepted. I think it's a great honor. The last time I was asked to MC something, it was St. Sarkis Day. And that was before the pandemic, and I had been elected to the board, and we really spent a few years, countless hours, worrying about renovations and repairs. And of course, when everything was ready, we had a beautiful facility, as you could all see. It doesn't always look quite as beautiful as how the ladies had set it up for today, but we do have a very beautiful facility, and we're ready to share that with the community, but alas, the pandemic hit, right? But it was a difficult time for a lot of different people, as well as the church, but this church is no stranger to adversity, so to speak, right? I thought it important, I know all of you that are here are St. Sarkis supporters. I thought it important to just go over maybe the history of St. Sarkis, a very, very abbreviated history of St. Sarkis, because there's really so much to say. So many people have contributed, over the years. The original church, for those of you who don't know, obviously this is the 60-year anniversary, right? So the original church, 60 years ago in Bayside, and it was originally chartered with the corporate name of the St. Sarkis Armenian Apostolic Church of Long Island. Right? On the fateful night, unfortunately, of May 21st, 1985, during an electrical storm, a bolt of lightning hit the bell tower and spread the flames to the sanctuary. And firefighters battled the flames for hours to no avail. And obviously, it was a very difficult day. We felt that many may have felt that all was lost. The All Saints Episcopal Church was kind enough to open its doors to its parishioners, and for the next 5 years, services were held there. But fast forward, the church as we know it, today, a parcel was purchased in Douglaston, which became the site of the new St. Sarkis Church. And in October of 1986, the groundbreaking ceremony took place with Archbishop Mesrab Ashjan, prelate, presiding over the ceremony, aided by Archpriest Ashori Kelejan. Fundraising events were held, and with the help of godfathers and donors and volunteers, they tried to bridge the gap between the cost of what they were able to get from insurance proceeds and the sale of the land. And the construction took long and went over budget, just like all construction. The new St. Sarkis Church was consecrated on May 20th, 1990, almost 5 years to the day where the church was destroyed. 1990 also marked the completion of the school building and the 2 halls. And in September of 1991, Very Reverend Father Anushavan Tanyalam became the newly appointed pastor of St. Sarkis Church. He would serve as pastor for the next 15 years. Until in 2018, His Grace Bishop Anushavan was elected prelate of the Eastern United States and elevated to the rank of Archbishop. In 2005, the St. Sarkis Church welcomed our new pastor and current pastor, Reverend Father Narek Tertanyan, who continues his unrelenting and faithful service to his church. As I look over, I realize that I recognize a few of the Yedidskins, but I left Yedidskin on for us. Sorry about that. Of course, the history of St. Sarkis Church is not complete without mentioning so many other individuals. And for fear of forgetting individuals, I just want to say, really, when you try to list all the different people that helped make St. Sarkis Church what it is today, a viable, thriving community church, you have to think of all the countless donors and benefactors and chairmen and deacons and alkalites and organists and choir members and committee members, board members, sister organizations, teachers, staff, volunteers, parishioners, right? They've all helped to make St. Sarkis Church what it is today. So we thank them for all their work over the hard years, for all their work over the years. I'm going to say a little bit more, but what I want to do is, we're graced today by the presence of Senator John C. Liu. Right? And he was able to join us today, and I would like to take this opportunity to ask him to come to the podium and say a few words. Elected in... One second. Well, go ahead. Come on. He was elected in 2019 as a state senator, and he represents the 11th district and is currently the chairman of the New York City Education Committee. So, Mr. Liu, thank you. Let me get this out of your way.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Simon, for that kind introduction. It's really an honor. It's an honor to join His Eminence, our Archbishop, our Prelate, and of course, Pastor Tatarian and all of the distinguished members here at St. Sarkis. This is a very special occasion. 60 years. 60 years! Nothing to sneeze at. A milestone in the history of this church that has been through a lot. No question. But today it stands strong and tall right here in Douglaston. It's a part of the community. There are so many service-oriented as well as spiritual matters that this church takes a lead on. And so when they asked me to come and honor this event, I would say that it's actually all my honor because of the history that's here. You know, we have a very robust Armenian community. We have a very robust community, period. And St. Sarkis is really a very integral part of that. And today is another milestone, 60 years. I look forward to the next 60 years. And also I want to give a shout out to my old friend Harry. I say old friend because he is old. I'm just kidding. I always kid with him. I'm getting on in my years too. I saw Harry at the Times Square commemoration we had just a couple of weeks ago of the genocide that took place from 1915 to 1918. It's good to see that our President of the United States finally recognized it as a genocide last year and continues to call it for what it is. We need to do that so that this kind of ugliness does not repeat itself in human history. But in any event, today's a happy occasion, and I spoke with my colleagues in the New York State Senate about this special occasion. They said I needed to prepare a proclamation. So here it is. This is a New York State Senate proclamation celebrating the 60th anniversary of St. Sarkis Armenian Apostolic Church of Douglaston. I was going to call Pastor Tatarian up after I took about 20 minutes to read this very long proclamation. I get the feeling that he doesn't want me to read the whole proclamation.
I didn't say that.
But it's up here for anybody who would like to read it in its entirety. And once again, on behalf of the state of New York and the New York State Senate, I thank you for everything you continue to add to the vitality of the state of New York. I'm sorry. Harry told me to say, Paregur Shenavorum, Hi Jovur.
glad everyone's having a good time. They're up and about, talking. I hope you've been enjoying your food so far. We do have a musical piece upcoming. We have speakers and award presentations, so I'm just going to keep the ball rolling, okay? The next speaker I wanted to invite to the podium is none other than our leader of the Board of Trustees, Harry Solomezian. Before he comes up, I'll say is I've personally known Harry and his family since childhood. I don't even know how many years. I'm getting up there, right? 30 years, okay, for 30 years. Yeah, we even played some home and men's soccer together back in the youth. I mean, I was much better than him, but that's okay, it's to be expected. All right, you know, Harry's first experience with St. Sarkis Church was when he married his wife Alice, and I suspect a lot of people's first, experience at a particular church maybe when they get married. His participation in church activities really started getting going when his son attended the Saturday school, and Alice, his wife, was the school's PTA. What was she? The secretary? Was it? No, chairperson of the PTA. Sorry. You were the chairperson. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to give her credit. She deserves a lot of credit, but maybe not for that. Okay, so you couldn't let it go, Harry, huh? Okay. So in 2010, he was elected to the Board of Trustees, serving a 6-year term. He was also elected to serve on the Prelacy Executive Council. Since 2015, he was again elected to the Board of Trustees and shortly thereafter nominated to be the chairman of the board. Really under his leadership, the board and the church has really done some great things. He spearheaded a lot of the activities. Even though we have different committees that do work and everybody contributes, a lot of times as a figurehead you're involved in all of it. So we really couldn't do without him. So, I have the privilege this afternoon of introducing my friend and our chairman, Harry Sullivan. Thank you.
Thank you, Simon, for that introduction. And we all know Rosmic was the best soccer player of all of us. I'm very happy to be here this afternoon. We're surrounded by some amazing people. We have in our presence our prelate, His Eminence Archbishop Anushavan Tanelian, and I want to thank you for being here today, and congratulations again on your election to prelate again. We're very happy for you, and we're here to support your continued presence in our prelacy. Thank you. Next to him, we have someone very special. We have the very Reverend Father Sahag Yemishian. He's our vicar. He is now at the St. Vartanant's Church in New Jersey. He's a good friend of mine. We've spent time together talking, having a few drinks, talking about everything in the world. But it's important that he's here today, and I just want to say thank you very much for taking the time to be here. The table is also full of clergy that is very important to St. Sarkis Church. It's important that we're here together. The clergy from the New York churches, we have Der Mizra, we have Father Abraham from Holy Martyrs. It's important that we're here together. And Simon introduced me as someone that has done a lot, but it's not just me that does this thing, whatever you want to call it, for St. Sarkis Church. It's being together. It's having a team of important people that can volunteer their time, not only their finances, but their time, their effort, time away from their families, time away from their partners, time away from other activities in their life, and be a part of St. Sarkis Church. So it's as part of being together that makes St. Sarkis Church what St. Sarkis Church today. It also makes St. Sarkis Church what it was 60 years ago. It wasn't just one person or a few people that made St. Sarkis Church the beginning of this amazing organization, if you will, that's part of our Queens community for 60 years. It was a group of people, and that has sustained us throughout the last 60 years, and I'm really hopeful that with the youth that's behind in our room today, as they grow, as they get involved, as they participate in our church, they will be the next leaders of our church, and they will take on the activities that we've started, that we're passing on to them, and they will take it for the next 60 years or more. And we will be a presence in the Queens community for a lot longer than the 60 years that we have been here. The community involvement is critical to our success, and it's not only just the Armenian American community, but we welcome all the communities around us in this neighborhood, in the Little Neck area, in the Douglaston area, in the Queens area, and we all participate in our communities where we live. And we try to promote the Armenian American traditions, language, culture, traditions, right? That's what we all try to promote so people can understand what it means to be an Armenian. It's not just these activities at St. Sarkis Church, but it's the way we live that enhances the way we are as Armenians and how people get attracted ultimately and they come to St. Sarkis Church and they're part of St. Sarkis Church. I've had the opportunity of meeting many people in the last several years that have come to Sunday service that I've never seen before. But they come to St. Sarkis Church. They're part of our parish. They come in, they participate, and they are welcome here. And we've met some of the people, very nice people. So we always welcome the participation of all the people in our community. The Board of Trustees is a unique organization. It tries to do what it can to support the efforts of St. Sarkis Church and all the and everything around it. It's not just the Board of Trustees, right? So we have 11 people in the Board of Trustees. I'm the chairperson, but without the other 10 people, I don't really have any accolades to claim. It's the 11 people working together, the treasurer that we have, who's done an amazing job, our secretary, our vice chair, everybody in that board, whether you have a title of secretary or treasurer or you don't, they have all participated and made the last several years, which were some of the most challenging years in respect to what we have undergone, successful. We came through the COVID. We didn't stop broadcasting or through Zoom or having services on Sundays. That didn't prevent, COVID did not stop St. Sarkis Church for bringing what it does to all of you on Sundays, maybe for one Sunday. We continued, we evolved, we changed, we took the opportunity to change, we made the changes matter to St. Sarkis Church, and we hope that in the next years that this board is together, and any future board members will take the opportunity to adapt, change, make St. Sarkis Church a better place. I would like to recognize again our pastor of St. Sarkis Church, my good friend, Ternarek Terzerian, and I would also like to recognize his wife, Yeretskin Hani. It's important that they are a part of our church, and they have been a very important part of our church. And some of the ideas that have come from his perspective on youth, his perspective on our community, his perspective on the past and what we can do in the future has been very instrumental in the board and our pastor working together to make all these things happen. So I would just like to say thank you for everything that you've done and continue to do for our church. Thank you. I just also like to recognize every board member that has been a part of St. Sarkis Church since the beginning. Many of you are here tonight. Some of you are not, but it's important to recognize everyone. There is a sacrifice made when you're on the St. Sarkis Church board or any board. And the sacrifice is not just, let me do a lot of work, or let me do this, or let me do that. It's a sacrifice because you are doing something for something that you love. It's like going to your kid's baseball game because you know they're going to play for 5 hours, but they're not going to score a run. But because you love them so much, you're there. It's the same thing for St. Sarkis Church. We're here because not everything that we do becomes perfect, right? But because we love St. Sarkis Church so much, we're here. We prepare, we work together, we make everything happen. So we're here because we love this church, and I hope that love continues for another 60, 120, 1,000 years. Thank you very much.
Moving things along, so we're blessed to have performing for us today, Diana Vasilyan. Okay, she's a violinist. One second, we'll wait here. She's a violinist. She's born in Yerevan, Armenia. She began her musical career at the age of 7 at the first art school of Yerevan. Ms. Vasilyan thereafter attended the Musical College of Romanos and ultimately attended Komitas State Conservatory of Yerevan. In 2007, her group, the Lavandra Trio, received the nomination as the best instrumental album at the 9th Annual Armenian Music Awards. In 2009, she was nominated for Best Female Violinist in Armenia during the Big Apple Music Awards held in Manhattan Center. She's going to be playing 4 songs or pieces for us. The first of which is Sayat Nova's Chigakezi Naman. The second piece is Kisher Tzerek. The third piece is La Comparsida, which is widely considered the world's most famous tango song. And the fourth piece is composer Astor Piazzolla's Liber Tango. So please let's have a round for applause for Diana Vasilyan.
It obviously takes two of us to present the next presenter because he's someone very special to our church. Rosmi, can you just... I'm sorry, stay there. Not yet. I know, you need 3 people. 2 people is just not fair. We have the privilege, Simon and myself, to introduce a very good friend of ours, someone who's been a part of our lives and has been able to really support the St. Sarkis community for the last many years. Without him, without some of the work that we've done, especially in the last couple of years, we would not be where we are today. Would you agree with that, Simon?
I just shut off the mic because it was causing interference. Yeah, of course. I mean, look, my wife Laura and I were married at this church, and our kids were baptized at the church. And I remember meeting Dad Nadeg and Yeletsky Nani initially, and they came to our in-laws' house for a dinner at the time, and they were so young. I was joking with them now, saying that outside and look at the pictures, and Hofstad looks like him, or he looks like Hofstad in the picture. Over the years we formed. I mean, I had so much respect for him, because other than being a pastor, you see all the programs that he spearheaded. I mean, I could just go down a list of like 10, 20 different things, right? We can go Salt and Light. Hey, let's get Barachum going. Hey, let's have a Bible study. Hey, let's have couples counseling. Let's have a bereavement group. Let me do Datev. I don't know, man. I'm sure I'm forgetting a lot of them, right? It's just one after another.
There are many programs, and although we all know Yeletsky likes to take credit for everything that Dad does, we all know Dad Nadeg is the brains behind everything. And, well, we know that Yeletsky has to approve everything, but that's not important. So it is our pleasure to welcome our next speaker, our pastor, Dad Nadeg Tetzerian, to say a few words. Thank you.
I think after this introduction, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to sleep in my bedroom tonight. Pastor Sırpazanlar, Sireli Hokema Hayırlı Rehberler, Sireli Sarkis Douglaston Parigamler, Pariegater. Բացում ամյակի մեր այս տոնագարակությունը չսկսած, Սերպոլորին անունով դուզեմ անգամի և շնորհավորել մեր առաջնորդ Սրբազան հայրը և վերանության արտիվ։ Բարի եկατε Սրբազան հայր, ծեր դունը, Սուրբ Սարգիս եկեղեցին և մեր բոլորին անունով ցեզի գմախտենք հաջողություն ծերաս երկրորդ շրջանին համար, Աստված ցեզի դա առողջություն, համբերություն, որպեսզի ցեզի դրված ծանր վարդականությունը Dear brothers and sisters, I feel privileged to serve God and the Armenian Apostolic Church here in St. Sarkis. This is a great community, and not every day any community gets the chance to celebrate their 60th anniversary. I feel honored to be part of this great community. Today we are standing here, and I think the two things that we are all doing, or I'm hoping that we are all doing, is that we're looking back and we're trying to see the past achievements of our church, but we also are looking ahead, trying to see where we are heading. Looking back, there's a lot to honor, there's a lot to cherish, there's a lot to respect. Today, as part of our church ceremonies, Sarkis blessed 3 plaques for very involved people in our church. Our first pastor, who I would imagine, Aki, you are his daughter, I would imagine that it was roughly a smooth sail at some point. And then the tragedy happened. I can't even begin to imagine what is it like to be a pastor of a church when you don't even have a physical church. What do you do? Some of the challenges and struggles that you go through to maintain that community, to keep people praying together, and to keep giving them hope, saying that one day we will have our own church. And I think that Asoli did that. I never got personally to know that Asoli. But I think he did it with dignity, but more importantly, he did it with love, and he did it with respect. And therefore, this community has a lot of respect to your father. The second plaque that was blessed today belongs to Suzanne and Josep Agopian. Selfless individuals. Again, I never got the opportunity and the honor to meet them personally. But for someone to give everything to this church, and for us to be able to have security, financial security in the midst of hardship, it is very difficult. Yes, she did not have children of her own, but every child who attends our Saturday school is basically looks at her as a mother. The third person, or the third plaque that was blessed today, is for Bedros Jivelekyan, who was the chairman of this church for so many years. He was the godfather of this church, or one of the godfathers, and a person who loved and who cared for this church with all his heart. One of the most common stories that you all have heard is to jeopardize the well-being of his own home to secure our church. That's what he did. And there are few people who would do something like that. As we look back, and we try to look ahead, obviously, there are so many individuals, so many families, without whom St. Sarkis wouldn't be what it is today. I have one word, and that word is sincere gratitude. The thank you that I'm about to say is not a regular thank you. But this is a word that comes from my heart. And it goes to everyone, whether in the past or in the present. Everyone who made any sort of contribution for the well-being of Sarkis Church. Whether that is time or resources, energy or love or concern. Whatever they did, whatever you did, I am humbled and I am very, very grateful. Today, I think this is the first major event that we're having here in this church after COVID. When we were thinking about 30th anniversary of this current church, we had booked a venue, but then COVID came and we had to cancel plans. And when we felt that it's time to celebrate our 60th anniversary, yes, we couldn't find a venue, but we also chose to come here. Because there's a symbolic gesture in here. It is an invitation to come back home. So, this is the first event since COVID. And this is a time for us to come back home. It's an invitation for re-emerging. So I would like to tell you a story. A short one, though. A few weeks ago, my wife and I went to a comedy show, and I will not try to recreate the joke because I'm not a comedian. But the gist of the joke was the following. The guy was like, after COVID, things have changed so much. Back in the day, if you had to go somewhere and the last minute you decided to change your mind, you had to come up with so many excuses and feel embarrassed to cancel. He goes like, nowadays, if you don't feel like going anywhere, just text the guy. Don't even hold him. Just text the guy. And guess what? He's going to be happy that you're not going, and you're going to be happy that you're not going. And of course, we had a great laugh. But this joke, in itself, I think it's a snapshot of the state of our culture and our society today. And this is dangerous. Yes, I understand that during COVID we took a break. And re-emerging after COVID, we're kind of warming up. But to have that same attitude for important things, and especially for church, I think it is very dangerous. Because this is what's happening. We have a very limited number of years to influence our children. And if we miss that, we're missing something important. We're missing something fundamental in the life of our children. I have 3 children, and at some point, when things get overwhelming, you're like tired, you're kind of all over the place. And one day a person told me something. He was like, think about it this way. With each child, you have 18 summers the most. And you look at it, out of those 18, the first few years, they don't get it. And then before you know it, they're 18. Our time is very limited. I think the same thing is true when it comes to for us to fulfill our role, to bring our children to church. Maybe for some of the adults, if you don't come for a week or 2 or a month or 2, hopefully you'll come back and it's almost like you didn't miss anything. But for our children, when you don't bring them here, when you don't teach them the importance of church, something important is missing. I'm going to take a moment and I'm going to tell you something very personal. And I think there's no bragging here or anything like that. It's just me sharing my experience. Church has always been a part of my existence. I was a little boy, and I would go all by myself to church. My parents were not that religious, but I would go to church all by myself. And I developed that habit. But the habit grew into something different. It became a relationship. And in the midst of my darkest hours, and yes, even their house and people of faith, we experience dark hours. In the darkest of my hours, I found myself going to church. I found myself finding a quiet corner in the church and praying to God. And here's the answer that I got from God. It didn't work like magic. God didn't give me what I wanted. But here's what happened. I feel like God held my hand and He led me. And I think that is true with everyone who have the experience of God. My experience did not happen in some very fancy places. It happened in the local church. A lot of times it happened here in your sanctuary, in Sarkis Church. God is active. God is everywhere. And it's important for us to have that relationship with our Creator, my brothers and sisters. Yes, we saw beautiful pictures today. And those pictures are wonderful. But you are the church. And the church is not a social club. The church is where we encounter God and our faith grows here. This is a wonderful place to call it your church. This is home. I'm going to call all the committee members to come here so that you will be able to see them. Please, committee members, come here. All the committee members, please. I'd like you to see the wonderful people who organized this event today. And this is just a sample of what we have. And yes, the dinner was late and there were some mishaps, but I hope you can forgive us and you can be able to look beyond the dinner, right? This is a sample. Apart from this, we have Sunday school, we have Saturday school, we have youth organizations, we have Ladies Guild, we have our choir and our deacons. This is an active church. And we work with our sister organizations. And I'm ready to walk with you and to work with you as much as God can allow me for the next how many years that God allows me to be here. So, this is a church that I call home. And I'm going to finish with this final anecdote. So, not too long ago, there was a youth gathering here, and it was not Salt and Light. Some guys were here and they were doing something, and I come downstairs and I go to the kitchen, and I see that they're all sitting down or standing up around the table, and they're eating food. I said, "Where's this food coming from?" And they were like, "Yeretzin made it for us." I said, "What happened here?" And Ani told me that the guys came here and they're like, "We're all hungry, give us something to eat." So she cooked something for them, and they were so happy to have food and they were eating. So when you can call this place a place where you can come and say, "I'm hungry, give me something to eat," and there's food, this teaches you that there's something more than that. There's sustenance. Don't bring your kids only here for the regular food. Bring them upstairs for the real food. The food that God provides and the food that sustains our souls. So I wish you all a happy 60th anniversary. Asuzoshnokov, Garinan Kachort Batsun, Hayur Garinara, Mencher, Merzavakna, Merkovniknara, Asuzoshnor Commissioner Gala, Sarkis Douglaston NY.
Okay, before I announce our next presenter, just a little update on auctions, everyone. So, please, when you place a bid in the increments that are there, right? So, if someone bid 100, and the next one did 200, and the next one's 300, don't bid 301, right? So, that might work on the prices right, but it doesn't work at St. Sarkis, right? Sorry. And also, honestly, think about it. We would have like 5 pages of everybody bidding $1 more than another. So, please, honor whatever the increments there are. Don't go $5 more or $10 more than that, okay? But you can see there's been a lot of activity in bidding, and there's still some time, and there's still some beautiful pieces available on the table for everybody, okay? All right. Our next presenter is Levon Kesabin. Along with his wife Aline and 2 sons, they've been members of St. Sarkis Church for the past 24 years. Their sons attended Saturday school, and Aline was the secretary of the PTA. Levon's been a board member. Levon has been a board member of the Armenian Wet Network as well as a Home and Men's Scout. Besides managing and operating a real estate investment business, Levon is vice president of the board of directors of the Planned Dome Country Club in Manhasset. So, Levon, if you're here, please come support him. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Your Eminence, Pazan Amshavan Tanyanyan, distinguished clergy, and guests. It is my privilege to introduce our honoree this evening, Arthur B. Haravenya. Born in 1930 in New York, the second child to an Armenian genocide survivors, Harutyun and Arshavus Hayravedyan, and brother to Hedmine Tabibyan. The Hayravedyans lived happily in Queens Village, along with their faithful dog, Jody. When you ask Arthur about his childhood, he only relates fond memories, laughter, dances, parties, even vacations in Tannersville, which was Armenian Central for a while. The entire family was involved in different Armenian organizations, perhaps even more so the children. Their home was one with revolving doors, kids going in and out, knowing there was a place to sleep and certainly eat, like many Armenian homes. Arthur was your typical American Armenian teenage boy. Sports, music, he played the clarinet and had a band called Archbishop and the Jumping Five. Parties, dances, listening to the Lone Ranger series on the radio. That's what life was like. In 1948, he graduated from Bryant High and decided not to attend college, and got a job as a photo engraver. In 1950, as the Korean War began, he was drafted and joined the Marine Corps, attending the rank of corporal, and was ordered to shoot out to Korea. Luckily, as luck would have it, someone from his unit volunteered, and Mr. Hayravedyan's name was picked out of a hat, and he was not deployed. Upon his honorable discharge, Mr. Hayravedyan returned to New York, and under the GI Bill, was able to go to college and graduated in 2.5 years from NYU with an electrical engineering degree. Yet there was always time for a good Armenian activity. It was at the Armenian Club at NYU where he had met Lillian. They graduated together in 1957 and married in October of that year. Mr. Hayravedyan's first job was with Hazeltine Electronics, where he became department head when the first UNIVAC 2 computers were being installed. In 1959, an important part here, a group of young families from Long Island, the Petrosians, Agopians, Daryans, Kalyans, Agopians, Harutanyans, to name a few, decided it was time to have a church in their own community. After campaigning and fundraising, the dream came true in 1962. St. Sarkis Church had a new home in Bayside, and Mr. Hayravedyan was nominated as the chairman of the Consecration Committee, and subsequently chairman of the Board of Trustees. With a mortgage of $125,000, which is equivalent to $1.2 million today, the families worked hard to keep the church going. Having no money to spare, the men usually did all the repairs, including the roof. Events were bountiful and successful. Even the first Las Vegas night, much to the then Sir Pazan's dismay, which brought in an impressive $15,000 in one night. In 1965, the Hayravedyans chose to move to Paris and join the family business, and subsequently created their own company in the fishing and smoking industry. Mr. Hayravedyan naturally turned to the Armenian community and to the church. He was elected to the Board of Trustees of St. John the Baptist Church, and once again helped reinvigorate the parish. Mr. Hayravedyan never limited his involvement to the church alone. Whichever organization needed help, he was there. Deborah Zazer, an orphanage outside of Paris, the Makitari School, or AGBU. Now with 3 children, Diane, Laura, and Alan, revolving doors continued in their home. All were involved one way or another with an Armenian cause. The children moved back to the U.S. in the mid-'80s, and after retiring, the Hayravedyans followed them to New York in the 1990s. Although decades had passed since Mr. Hayravedyan last served St. Sarkis, without hesitation he got involved in the new St. Sarkis Church as a Board of Trustees member, the prelacy and NRA delegate, and was always very generous with his counsel, time, and financial assistance. At the NRA meeting hosted by St. Sarkis Church in 2016, Mr. Hayravedyan was presented the Prelacy Eagle Medal for his many years of service to the Armenian Church. Now in their golden years, they have taken a step back from active duty, but their children are now deeply involved serving the church. One thought that always guided him was something that his father told him when he was leaving from Marine Corps. Never forget who you are. Wherever you will be, turn a stone over, you will find an Armenian, a motto he has always lived by. Thank you, Mr. Hayravedyan.
those who know me, it's the first time I'm speechless. I can't thank enough for this great honor bestowed on me. I have one question. Where in the world did 60 years go? Believe me, life is very short. It seems like yesterday that a group of us decided that the Armenians have moved to Long Island and we need a Gilead church in Long Island. We were workers. We didn't have too much money, but a group of us got together and we got a Protestant church in Bayside. We had, I believe, if my memory is accurate, $150,000 original mortgage. Today that's worth about $1.5 million. And we only had 30 members of the church. So you can imagine what we went through to keep the church going. By the way, does anybody know why this church is called St. Sarkis? The biggest donor of the original fund was the Darion brothers, who had a business in Port Washington. And their father's name was Sarkis. And they insisted that we call the church St. Sarkis. And we all agreed. And that's why for 60 years St. Sarkis is around. Because of my young age, my memory is lacking. I don't remember all of the names of the original consecration committee. But of course the pillar of the church, and I believe the reason it is here today is because of his efforts, was a gentleman called Harold Manoukian. He lived 24 hours a day in the church. Actually, we all did. There was Harold Manoukian. I remember Sarkis Douglaston, Alan Callion, and the rest I don't remember. I do know that the members of their family is present today, sitting over there and among you. I look across this room and I see friends of mine from the old days. When I say the old days, I'm talking about Bayside, where very few left. I see other friends that I've made since, but more important, what I see is the youth that's among you. And this church, and any church, depends on the youth to continue our efforts. And when I see what St. Sarkis has developed, congratulations, you're doing a beautiful job. Keep it up. Thank you very much for the time.
Can we invite Begin Hairabedian also to join us?
Thank you.
We have additional awards for today, and I think the next couple of people that we invite may not be anticipating this, but they're our very own Dev Nadek and Yeliskinani. Surprise! Whether you come join us at the podium. The following awards are going to be presented on behalf of the board and the parish.
First of all, we would like to present this award to Bernadette for in recognition of 17 years of dedicated service to our community. With gratitude, the St. Sarkis family, May 15, 2022. We also have a little award for someone very special, for Yeretzin Ani Tetzerian, and presented by Sonia Janet, please. I truly say this with, it's very important for you to understand, they're a very special part of the St. Sarkis Church, and these gifts are just a small token of our appreciation for what they do on a daily basis for our parish. They are involved, actively involved, from a family perspective and from their own guidance, whether it's preparing for this event, whether it's preparing for other celebrations, where it's they're not really being a part of what we call the St. Sarkis Church community. Without him, this event and other events would have never happened. So, sincerely, we all say to you, thank you very much for everything you do for our parish. But wait, there's more.
Yeah, you need to empty your hands. For the next award, I'd like to call up Naidi Pedrosian and Rafi Benecha, representing Sultan Light.
Good afternoon, everyone. Rafi and I are up here together today on behalf of Salt and Light Youth Group to say a few words about our beloved Dad Nadek today. I'm sure many of you have heard about Salt and Light Youth Group, but perhaps I can shed some perspective for you on what this youth group truly means for St. Sarkis Church. Salt and Light Youth Group was a vision Dad Nadek had about 5 years ago, because he realized that without capturing our youth, the future of our church is at stake. He worked to put together a community that could bring his vision to life. And in a very short time, under the tireless efforts and inspiring efforts of both Dernarik and Yeretzkinani, this committee grew to become a family. A family of almost 20 adults and almost 80 youth who get together here at St. Sarkis Church many Friday nights and Saturday afternoons to talk, pray, learn, and have fun with each other. I can confidently say that we have made St. Sarkis Church a second home for many of these kids, which is such an important foundation as our world becomes ever-changing and continually challenging to navigate. We are so happy today to be up here on behalf of our entire Salt and Light family and present this pictorial cross as a small gesture of appreciation for Dernarik, for his vision and his continuous dedication to keeping our youth connected to our church.
For the final presentation, I'd like to invite to the stage members of the Ladies Guild, Amy Bostanyan, Zepir Arzigan, and Haiguy Mugelian, to present you with an award. Well, not an award, but you'll see. And I'll let them say a few words. If someone could just say a few words about what's being presented and what that was. It's okay, me on the schmuck.
I would just like to say thank you for all that you do. You work very hard all the time, including editing, and we really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
That was truly a surprise for me. Thank you very much. I have a new cross, I have news guests, and I guess we have to continue. That's what we're doing. In my speech, I said today is a day that we look back and we look ahead. And in that process, I spoke about our first pastor, Derasovic. But I'm happy to introduce to you our second pastor, our current prelate, His Eminence Archbishop Anushav Antanelyan, who for 15 years, he has been the pastor of this church. And when you have a brand new church, restarting everything, rebuilding and organizing a church is a tremendous challenge. And I think that Anushav Sarkis did that with grace, with patience, and basically he started the seeds of what became St. Sarkis Church the way that we know it. Anushav Sarkis, I'm lucky that I got to know you when you were the pastor of this church. I got to work with you. And whatever you started here is continuing and is blossoming. At this time, I would like to invite you to give your message to us.
I was hoping to enjoy first anniversary cake and then Anush si posim paisima ofesalga. What can I add after their hires, chairmen, MCs, and Mr. Arthur's speech? Indeed, today is a day of celebration. Hazar inayu baktunyeru vekli galageshesne. Hazar inayu sunhin, hazar inayu sunmek, yeru hazar sanyeru. 1962, 1985, 1991, 2022 and beyond. Mr. Arthur, thank you for your visionary, prophetic, looking forward and seeing today with all the achievements of 60 years of St. Sarkis Church. I don't know what was the mixture the contractor laying the foundation they put, but I'm sure that the most important mixture was unconditional love and commitment. I see Geresin, Volkan Paidi Karibra in the Vetsav, Pastoren, Ansagar Siro, Yev Ansarut Yambra in the Vetsav. Back in 85, that vision was buried somehow by Mother Nature, but it was renewed in 1991, and now it's becoming more and more blossoming. Nepal da sudu yemen ինչպես հայկական արածը չարիքի մեջ են միշտ բարիքը դես եթե 85-ին մոհերի եղածվեցավ մեր կին եկեղեցին եւ սակայն մեր ժողովուրդի ահուն սիրողը հանցարությամբ նոր կյանք արավ եւ ահավասիկ այսօր մենք այս բարավոր հային դակը միասնապատը ունենք 60-ամյակը. We are not only celebrating the 60th anniversary. I believe we are celebrating the ongoing, the ever-growing, ever-blossoming, ever-prospering of this community. Because each and every person, as Dev had already mentioned in his speech, they put their love in this community. Special բոլոր հիմնադիրներին, Տիրոջ Սուզանագոպյանին, Երբ որ դերայը հիշեց, որ անզավակներ չունեցավ, բայց թվոցի զավակներներին, հիշեմ անգամ թվոցի հանդեսեն դունգը դաներիզին, և սավ գիտես հայցու, սիրը շատ վախ է, բայց միշտ դեջնդվի է սավ, որտեղ մեկ հատ զավակ չունեցավ. Ինչ կրնաս ասել, ինչպես կրնաս մկրտարել, Եթե ասված այդ վայրենի իմաստությունը բանսավ, Տիրոջ Սուզանասի, ես անզավակ քինիցից եմ։ Այսինքն ասված ինձ եւ ցեզի ոչ թե մեկ հատ երկու հատ հայրավոր զավակներ դվածեցի եւ այսօր ուրախացուցիլս է բոլոր զավակներու։ That what does mean unconditional love. Բարդավոր չենք եւ սակայն այն չողնենք Աստուծո նման դուբաժնենք ուտանք եւ այդ վախությունը անփոխարինելի է։ In my message, I don't know whether you had a chance, I said the key success of this community was, and it will be the harmonious cooperation of healthy leadership and conscious, supportive parishioners. Այս խաղուտի առաջին օրեն ունեցավ իսկապես առողջ ղեկավարություն եւ այդ ղեկավարությունը միշտ եւ միշտ քաչալեցավ լավ 62-ին երբ որ հիմնվեցավ լավ 85-ին 91-ին երբ որ այրեցավ եւ նորեն շինվեցավ. After when you were saying that you had mortgage for $150,000, which is worth today $1.5 million. In 1991, we had $1.6 million mortgage, which means $16 million today. But thank God. Thank God, because at the end of every month, somehow God provided a benefactor. And one of them is here. And I like to call him as 1 month mortgage paying member. Cargo is Cargo. Where's Cargo? What did it? What did it? Che bagaremo met amsava pere ivdagarne ivnoch alisin o kadar utanpa yevte tetevsner mevkere yefima yefimek mek spesim anunere dal arkavinche jamme go hospital la uzet dal mek anunere okay now what you see is such a but nevertheless, as I already mentioned, all the auxiliary bodies, all the, let's say, benefactors, all the pillars, okay, you are already, your names is written in the eternal heavenly book. And I assure you that. Astuzo açken vocinci gosări, e nici o găcărvi astuzo cărți mece, anica gămâna ancincei. Therefore, it is my wish that this ever-growing, ever-blossoming, ever-prospering procedure may be continued, which started with Derasorig. Derasorig vor târnavă sermirai seunti, o che vor nere era vor, amene nerbai maneru meci gărțan sivov. Yegereți neu do kadar kunarne. Yegereți oaken voaso, yegereți aptuska akilbose, yev internavelte il haire inchbusi, tijvam kunere ansa patsmish, der haire podung yev taksivov yevtar. And I'm so happy that link is being continued with a younger der Nare, who is actually, I like to call him the pastor of 22nd century. He can challenge all the challenges of 21st century. That's why we wish him a long life. Asmat yerda yakta dehay. He's so creative, he's so innovative, he's so challenging. That's why every time, joyfully he comes and says, Pazan, now I have a new plan. I say, what's the next? I'm so glad that he's continuing this mission with great love, because he sees Sarkis Church as his own spiritual home. And I wish that each and everyone, with the same vision, with the same understanding, continues the mission of St. Sarkis Church. After all, as I said, we are going beyond 22. It was precis one of the churches teaching. Hidegariga volkan mes we see of pure basic. When after nelik ring, ye bidansni. Tunal na yesek gadarin yesek palastelza ara yesek ye tunal ansi. Tunal bidansni. Hasben vakutun aynı bu asmalu yuşukların meklesetsin at kuisi avakari keretsi. Cisde hangi da gitse, maçıse bu inç vognen bu çenkidir. Antagaraga anon iesmece sevme bu sandesan anon inşallah bin acin yetidak sapar anon biliges budunera pere. Divas kahut istabes vor betarna istabes mer askanaj votar meşkovina gelin kahutna. During the last NRA, our convention in Philadelphia, I said that I am so proud. I'm so proud that recently in our churches I see salt and light, prominent men, AYF, they are coming together, they are holding conferences, they are sitting together and they are being nurtured with our 2,000, not only 2,000 of Christian, but of 5,000 of Armenian spirit. My dear brothers and sisters, a human being has three dimensions: physical, intellectual, and spiritual. Let us take care for our children's physical. I'm sure 100% you take care for that. You take care also 100% for their intellectual growth. But please, don't forget the spiritual dimension. Don't let your children's spiritual
life becomes handicapped, retarded. Nobody likes to have a retarded child intellectually, physically. It's worse than intellectual and physical retardment, the spiritual. Because we are not only the children of this world, we are the children of eternity. And in order to enjoy that eternity, we have to feed our children with that spiritual nourishment. And highly commend that what Dev High is doing. I mentioned in my NRA notice that how Dev High initiated Salt and Light, and later it was adopted in 2017 by Palacy. Yes, my dear brothers and sisters, I wish that all our Palacy churches, their board of trustees, their NRA delegates, their parishioners, with this vision, they come to church, as they have said that this was a welcoming day to remember that the church is our home, spiritual home, intellectual home, social home, everything. And last but not least, please, therefore me proposing me ansiali pariar ne umasin. Aspatroki lusavoesen. Aspatroki lusavoe Suzanne Ovsepagopianin, Aspatroki lusavoe Pedro Shibilekianin, Aspatroki Bogna Shibilekianin, Jebailen. Martin Bourg established especially on the ships. Igens janke, igens businessen, en pochon vadanti doctrine. It's not easy to say that the benefactors, especially Bedros Civilekian, Hovnan Civilekian, he risked his career. Bedros risked his business. That's why we are here today. It's not enough to say thank you. May God rest their souls in peace. But ich weiß genannt, make I so. When I walk Jov, voi me ade ne pobet Allah. Make a snake walk, aspats, is podgaske. Here I am, Lord. Whatever is need, I'm fully in your service. Physically, intellectually, spiritually, monetarily. And that's how each will make something and God can sing. The prolog na hopnere, special aktuaira mit Janen. Amen kanal Sirov sanetsi. Sirov boroketsi. Yemen aiso geweilig aan ons bedoelen. Nu is er ook macht nebo amen salmias kapar. Ovi, o kapar sutun, NRA, Ignas Miltun, Shapadoria, Diakonia Tmoseu, Ashayutun, Destutun, Zenorner, Salt and Light. Homenet men, ewayet, amen kesal skapvor, mer dune vokamos ravor Allah, voi van chigenar mezi, wachsenen. My dear brothers and sisters, I'm not worried and afraid of assimilation. In my dictionary, it doesn't exist the word assimilation unless we don't take care for ourselves. If we are anchored in our 5,000 years of Armenian spirit and 2,000 of Christian identity, nothing can separate us from the love of Christ, and nothing can be a danger and threaten our identity. United States of America is a melting pot. It is, yes. But it's not only a melting pot. It's also a botanic garden where all kinds of hundreds and thousands, flowers, bushes, trees, they grow together. If we keep our identity, we are the pride of our identity. Nothing can threaten our existence. Yet a man, make include young, habatin, high lesbian, high shabritin, zanoten, kidagitsen, yevabardek amov. Voi me panasia que me tira da mesa bardafel, vou ver se me, vou se tem que tutuna, paziete me, específico reanal, make mesme, odaranak make mesme. Let our children speak 10 languages, but please take care for the mother language, Armenian language. You can feed your children with all kinds of meals, but the Milk which the baby gets from the breast of his or mother is irreplaceable. Hai lezun, maiveni lezun, ampo haidelie. Toye kanya kosin ammel lezmo. Habakas kase gezmo. To kosin chinaren. Japoneren, Koreatsagan, ինչ որ ուզեք, բայց հաջի փուկուացեք այն լեզուն, որ անաբադի ավազներում վրա մեր հայրիկները, մայրիկները այդ փենքին քվելով սովետուցին իրենց երեխաներում որպեսզի անուն զավակները, թողները մենք լանք հայ։ Եվ կմաղթեմ, որ այս հավատքով եւ Սուրբ Սարգիս եկեղեցի ուքակ, եւ Սրբոց Վարդանանց եկեղեցի երթակ, եւ Սրբոց Նախադագած եկեղեցի երթակ, եւ ոչ մեկ եկեղեցի երթակ, եկեղեցին նայեցեք ոչ թե միայն որպես մեկ ներգեշանվա շենք ու պիտի անցնեք, այդ ընդհանրը նայեցեք հավատքի, հույսի աղբյուրը եւ այդ աղբյուրեն, այդ կենթանի աղբյուրեն խմելով, ինչպես Քրիստոս ասավ, ամբողջ խմե իմ ճուղը չի զարավնար, նույն ցեվով երբ մենք խմենք այդ ճուղեն, վստահ եղեք որ ադիգա պիտի ողոքե մեր ամբողջ կյանքը շաբթվա մեջ ու որալան եւ այդ ցեվով փակ պիտան Աստուծո եւ մեր նախահայրերը մեզմով եւ մեր զավակները մեզմով հվակ պիտի սկան, որ մենք հավատալի մնացինք եւ փոխանցենք իրենց։ Շնորհավոր սիրելի դերնարեք, 60-ամյակ եւ մաղթեմ, որ երկար հովվեց այս խաղութը եւ միշտ Երեսքին անին հետը շարունակես այս խոյակապ առաքելությունը, որ քեզ ստահված է Աստծո կողմէ եւ թող որ Աստվածը դա նաեւ բացահայտույցը եւ ֆունդամենտի մեջ են նաեւ գարենաս ֆուն ըսկալ ամեն մեկ ընտանիքի ցավը ուրախությունը մտահոգությունը տագնապը եւ այդ տագնապները քույանքի մեջ թարգմանելով գարենաս իսկապես այս մեծ ընտանիք Սուրբ Սարգսին օգադար հայրենան շնորհակալություն ցեքորեն
Anniversary cake. I'd like to invite all the committee members and the board members to join us. I'd like to thank Ani Nesesyan for donating the cake for today's event. Please, all the board members and committee members, come join us.
Committee members, board members.
Happy